Hey guys, the recording has started. And also one more thing. So you all are understanding previous topics, right? Yesterday we have discussed about exceptional handling, and before that we have discussed about modules. So you all can clearly understand what I am teaching, right? Is there any issues, or do you have any kind of confusion with the previous topics? Okay, okay, Lakshmi is saying no. Everyone can send message. Okay, Akhil. Okay, Kaushar and Rai Teja. Amulya, fine. Okay, thank you for confirming. Okay, guys, thank you. Sujit is asking why runtime errors happen. So here the point is Sujit. So I will explain that. Don't worry, I will explain. Okay, fine, guys. Thank you for confirming. So now let us begin our today's class. So I'm going to disable the chat section, and before that, let me explain. Let me create a new folder first. So it is our day 21. So let me open my VS Code. Yeah, all right. So yesterday. So yesterday we have discussed about errors, right? So here there are three types of errors: compile time error, logical error, and runtime errors. So I have told you that these compile time errors occurs due to mistake in syntax. Suppose if you are not following a proper syntax means your program itself will not get compiled and it will throw a syntax error. So these kind of errors are called as compile time errors. And the second thing is logical errors where programmer will mistake, like he may miss some logic. For example, here I need to perform addition but I am performing subtraction. So if I call this add function, I will get subtraction as a result. Not addition will not happen here, subtraction will happen. Why? Because so it is a mistake from programmer side. I want to perform addition but I am using minus operator which is going to perform subtraction operation. Okay, so these kind of errors are called as logical errors. Here we will get a output. We won't get any kind of error. We will get a output, but that output will be wrong. So we won't get our desired output. So that's the thing about logical errors. And these runtime errors are really interesting. Why? Because so in most of the cases, these runtime errors happens because of users input. Okay. So yesterday I have shown you that. So I am taking input from the user to perform division operation. Suppose if we enter zero means we will get an error. Why? Because we can't divide a number with zero. So we get zero division error. Similarly, I am asking him to enter a number, but he is entering a string. So it is also error, right? It is a value error. So like this, these kind of errors happens from the user's input. In most of the cases, runtime errors happen because of user's input. If user is entering wrong input means then we will get an error. Suppose we are asking path of a file from the user. He is entering wrong path. So it's error from user side. We need to handle these kind of errors. Why? Because if we are not handling this type of errors means then what will happen? User will get some big error message. Will he understand? No. As a programmers, we can understand. Why? Because we are the people who wrote that code and we know the concepts of Python. But users, they don't know. They can't understand errors, right? So we should not display errors to them. Instead, we should display a decent message with which he can understand, with which he or she or user can understand the actual error so that he can rectify the error. If he is entering zero while division means, we should show him that don't enter zero. We can't divide with zero. We should show him message like that. So that's the reason why we use exception handling. So these runtime errors cause abnormal termination of programs. Okay. So while I am trying to divide a number with zero means at that line itself, my program will be terminated abnormally. So as a programmers, we should handle these kind of errors and we should prevent our program terminating abnormally. Okay, we should not let our program to terminate abnormally. We should prevent abnormal termination. So that's the reason why we handle errors. And yesterday we have clearly seen that what is this try, except, all these things. Okay, so if you have any doubts with this syntax or if you want to understand how this flow works, then I highly recommend you to check out the recorded video. And I think yesterday also I told this point, but anyways, these runtime errors occurs mostly due to users input. Fine. So this is the thing about runtime errors. And now let us continue our today's class. So today first we are going to discuss about how to create our own errors. Okay, can I create my own error? So in Python, by default, there are some errors like index error, name error, value error, zero division error, and also there are a lot of other errors. But as a programmer, can I create my own error? Yes, of course we can do. So how can we do that? If you are from Java background, if you have already learned Java, then there we use throw keyword something. But here we don't have throw concept. We have raise keyword to raise a error. So we are raising a error. So I am going to create a new file called as user defined errors.py. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit, and also let me select the Python interpreter. Yes. So fine. Now, why first point is why do we need to create our errors? So here we have a concept with the help of which we can create, with the help of which a programmer can create his own error. But in case while you are coding, if you don't have any requirement of creating error, then just don't create it. But as there is a concept, let us learn that concept first. In case we may get a requirement to create error at some point while working on some big projects. So at that time, we should get this idea. We should get this idea like, oh, we have a raise keyword. We can use this keyword to create error. And we can also handle this error with the help of except block. So we should get idea at that time. For that, first we need to learn the concept here. So that's what we are doing. Okay. So I hope you understood why we are learning how to create our own errors. Fine. So here, creating our own errors. So we have a keyword called raise. So with the help of this keyword, we can create our own error. Okay. So here, let me create a scenario. I am asking user to enter positive number. Okay. So listen to my words carefully once again. So just listen for a few minutes, and after that you will clearly understand what I am explaining. Okay. So here I am having a use case. Let me create a scenario first. So as a programmer, I am asking user to enter a positive number. Okay, now he is entering negative number. Suppose if he is entering negative number means I need to throw a error. Okay, I need to throw error like invalid number error. So this invalid number error is not available in Python. Okay, so we are going to create that error now. So how can we do that? So first let me create some if condition. So let me take input from the user, n equal to int of input, enter a number. Okay. So let me ask him to enter a positive number only. So enter a positive number. All right. In case if he is entering value less than 0 means, suppose if the n value is less than 0 means it is a negative number, right? So here I need to write some code. And in the else block, suppose if he is entering 0 or if he is entering a positive number means, I am going to show him message as success. Okay. Now here, suppose if he is entering a negative number means I need to raise a error. So I am going to say raise. So my error name is number error. And inside this, let me pass some message like, so like negative numbers are not allowed. Okay. So let me run this program. So if I enter 10, I got success. If I enter -8, you can see here we got an error this time. We got the error in the same fashion. Trace back, most recent call lost. So name error. So name error, name number error is not okay. This is not the error which I am expecting. So let me just check out the syntax of raise in Python. Raise exception, raise type error. Okay, I should say raise exception. Now if I run this, let me enter -8. Okay, this time I got error, exception, negative numbers are not allowed. This is my error, okay? So now let me explain what is happening here. So the syntax is, first we use raise keyword. So this raise is for creating a error. Syntax followed by exception, okay? And after that we use parenthesis, and inside this parenthesis we need to pass some string. So basically this string is nothing but our error message. So whatever the string which we are passing here, it will be displayed as a error message. Okay, let me say error message. This is our syntax. First, we use raise keyword followed by exception. So this exception is also a kind of keyword in Python, right? You can see here, it is in different color. Okay. So raise exception. Make sure that in exception you are using capital E. If you are using small e means you will get an error. You should use capital E. Okay. So raise exception. What are we going to do? We are raising an exception. What is meant by exception? Exception is nothing but error, right? So I am saying, suppose if the n value is less than 0, which means it is a negative number, then raise a exception and my error message is negative numbers are not allowed. So have a look at the terminal now. I got an exception and my message is negative numbers are not allowed. Suppose if I add enter only positive, enter only positive numbers, and if I run this once again, now let me enter -4 here. You can see here I got the exact message. Negative numbers are not allowed. Enter only positive numbers. Okay. So like this, you can create your own errors. So this raise is a keyword available in Python. With the help of this raise keyword, or else you can call it as raise statement. So with the help of this raise, you can create your own keywords. Suppose if you want to create, now this is a normal exception. Okay, this is normal exception. Suppose if you want to create a type error or name error, something like that. So this type error, name error, zero division error, all these errors are already available in Python. Okay, these errors are already available in Python. So if you want to create those kind of errors, you can also do that. So raise type error. If I run this once again, if I enter -6, you can see here this time I got type error. Instead of exception, I got type error. Okay. You can use either after this raise keyword, you can use either exception or else you can define your own error. I mean, you are not allowed to define your own error name, but you can give the names, you can give the error names which are already available in Python, like type error, name error, zero division error. So if you want that list means, so let me search in Google, types of runtime errors available in Python. Okay. I am not getting exact answers here. That's the reason why I use ChatGPT. Give give me names of runtime errors available in Python. The syntax error is not a runtime error. So ignore the syntax error. Sometimes ChatGPT makes mistakes. So these are other errors: name error, type error, index error, value error, key error. So basically, this key error occurs in dictionary. Have a look at the description. The error occurs when you try to access a dictionary key that does not exist. So we have seen this while discussing about dictionaries. So if you enter a wrong key means you will get a key error, attribute error, zero division error, file not found error. So we are going to discuss about this file not found error and import error. Suppose if you are importing a wrong module means you will get import error. So like this, suppose if I am importing here, import Avanto. So there is no module called as Avanto in Python. So if I run this, you can see here I got module not found error. So this is also one type of error in Python. Okay. So like this. So you can give all those names here. You can give module not found error here, but this is actually meaningless, right? So we just want to display a message, that's it. Here we don't want to create a module not found error. I'm just showing you that you can also use any error name here, but that error name should be a valid runtime error name in Python. So what are the runtime errors in Python? All these errors are runtime errors in Python. Okay. So if I run this, if I enter -9, you can see here this time I got module not found error. So actually we are not importing a wrong module here, but have a look at the message. Negative numbers are not allowed, enter only positive numbers. So here my point is, after raise keyword, you can enter any runtime error name, okay, any runtime error name, but that should be a valid Python runtime error. So all these 10 errors are, all these 9 errors are valid Python runtime errors. So you can basically use these names. So that's the point here. Suppose if you don't want to use those names, then just say exception. That's it. Now this time if I enter -7, I will not get all those names. Just I will get exception. So it is a better idea. I think using exception is a better idea. Why? Because here we are creating our own error, right? So here a value error is not occurring, type error is not occurring. But as a programmer, I want to create my own error. So for that, it it is better to use this exception keyword. So basically this exception is nothing but an error, and after that we will pass our error message. Okay, you don't have to confuse with anything here. So it is basically a simple concept. So we are creating our own error, that's it. So how can we do that? With the help of raise keyword. And after raise keyword we use this exception, and inside the parenthesis we will display our error message. We will pass our error message, and that error message will be displayed on the terminal. Okay, that's it, which you have to remember. So I think you all clearly understood this concept of raising errors, which means creating your own errors. So now we let us discuss about types of variables. Someone is asking about namespaces. Now we are going to discuss about it. So here we have two types of variables in Python. They are global variables and local variables. So what are these global variables? What are these local variables? So within 10 minutes, you will clearly understand the concept of global variables and local variables. Just listen to my words carefully. That's it. Okay. So global variables. So here the basic definition is, so actually I'm not taking this definition from any textbook or Google. I'm just giving definition in my own notes. So if you want to follow any textbook, you can do that, or else you can search in Google. You can follow any website of your wish. Okay. These variables can be accessed anywhere in the program. Okay. The second type of variables are local variables. I will explain the definition. Don't worry. The scope of these variables is limited to a particular block. What does this mean? So basically global variables means, so if we declare a global variable, then we can access that global variable anywhere in the program. Okay, I will show you with the help of example, then I bet you will clearly understand what is meant by global variable. So first let me declare a variable here called as G. Why G? I am trying to explain the concept of global variables. So that's the reason why I am taking G as my variable name. Okay. So I am assigning 10 to this variable G. All right. Now, if I print G, of course, I am going to get 10 as output. So there is nothing new here. But let me create a function here. So how to create a function? Def keyword followed by function name. So here the name of my function is local or something like that. You can give your own name. So I'm just giving it as local. So I don't want to take any parameters. And inside this function, I want to print G. Okay. I am printing G inside this function. And let me call this function also. Let me call this function local. What will happen now? So first I am calling this local function. So whatever the code which is present inside the local function will get executed. So what is the code that is present? Simple print statement, which is printing the value of G. So what is the value of G? 10, right? So I will get 10 as output. After that, at line number 12, again I am printing the value of G. So I will get 10 two times on the output screen. So if I run this, you can see here I got 10 two times on my output screen. Fine. Okay, it is totally good here. So let me comment out this. Let me copy the same thing below. Suppose, now forget this G variable, okay? Inside this function, I am taking another variable called L, and the value of this L variable is 80. Okay. Now inside this function, I am printing G and also I am printing L. Let me remove line number 21. Let me run this code. What will happen? Nothing. At line number 20, I am calling a function called local. And what is the code that is present inside my local function? I am assigning a value of 80 to my variable L. And after that, I am printing G. After that, I am printing L. So what is the value of G? 10. What is the value of L? 80. So I am going to 10. I am going to get 10 initially. After that, I am going to get 80. All right. So if I run this program, you can see here I got the desired output. First I got 10. After I got 80. Now after the function call, so I am having function call at line number 20. Okay, after completely executing my function, then I am going to print the value of L here. Now at line number 21, I am printing the value of L, and inside the function, I am assigning that L equal to 80. So if I run this program, you can see here I got a name error. Name L is not defined. Why? What is happening here? So here the simple answer is this L is a local variable. Why is it local variable? So we are defining this variable inside a function and we are not allowed to use this variable outside my function. So basically the scope of this variable L is inside this function only. I can use this variable L throughout my function. Okay, inside the function I can use, but I cannot use this L variable outside my function. If I try to access this L variable, if I print this L variable, then I will get an error. You can see here name L is not defined. I am getting a name error. So I hope you understood what is happening here. So this L is a local variable. Now what are local variables? So the scope of local variables are and up to a specific block. The scope of this variable L is inside this function only. Okay. We are not allowed to use this variable L outside my function. Why? Why? Because I am declaring this variable L inside my function. That's the reason. Here in this case, I am declaring G outside my function, and this is a global variable. What is the definition of global variable? These variables can be accessed anywhere in the program, which means it can be accessed inside the functions and also it can be accessed anywhere outside the functions also. Basically, we can access these global variables anywhere in the program, and these local variables are we can access them until a specific block only. So inside this function only, I can access this variable L. Okay, outside this function, I cannot access this variable L. So that's the concept of global and local variables in Python. Now, now let me show you an interesting scenario here. Okay, so here, let me minimize this terminal a little bit. All right. Okay, so here I am having a variable called, let me say, I'm having a name equal to I'm thinking of a random, so let me take Python itself, fine. So I'm having a variable called name, and inside this variable, I am having a value Python. Okay. Now I'm creating a function called def, and the name of this function is name changer. Okay, all right. The name of this function is name changer. And inside this function, if I print the value of name, what will I get as output? Of course, I am going to get Python as output. Now here I am changing the name to Java. Okay. After changing the name, I am printing the value of name variable once again inside my function itself. Remember, this name is a global variable. Why? Why? Because it is present outside a function. So it is a global variable. So I can access this variable inside my function also. Why? Because it is a global variable. Now, if I print the value of name, of course, I am going to get Python as answer output. After that, I am changing the value of name to Java, and again I am printing the value of name. So I will get Java as output. So let me call this function. My function name is name changer. So if I run this, so print name. So have at line number 27, I am changing the value of name. What is the issue here? Why I'm getting error? Okay, fine. I am getting error. To solve this error, what I can do is global name. Now if I run this, I will not get any kind of error. But let me come remove this line. Before this, let me show you one more thing. Now have a look at my function. First, I am assigning a value of Java to this variable name and I am printing the name variable. So of course I am going to get output as Java. And after calling this name changer function, again I am printing the value of, I am printing my variable name. Okay, at line number 29, after my function call, again I am printing name variable. So if I run this, you can see here initially I got Java. Why? Because inside my function I am changing my variable to Java and I am printing my name variable. So I got output as Java. And at line number 29, again I am printing the value of name. This time you can see here I got Python as answer. So what is happening here means basically, so it doesn't matter whether we change the value inside the function. So the scope of this name variable or the scope of the value Java which is stored inside this name variable is limited to this function only. Let me repeat once again. The value which I am assigning as Java to my name variable, it is limited to this function only. Outside this function, the value of my name variable will be Python itself. As I am performing modification inside the function, so it is considered as a local modification. Okay, so this modification will not reflect outside the function. Let me repeat once again. So I am changing the value of name variable here. This change, this modification will not reflect on the outside my function. Okay, it will not reflect on outside the function. It will be up to inside the function only. As I am changing the value of name to Java, here, let if I print the name, I will get output as Java. Okay, fine. But after the function call, if I print the value of name outside my function, again I am going to get Python as answer. So that's the point here. Why? Because so the modification which I am doing, it's up to this function only. Why? Because whatever the things which we declare or which we change inside a function, they are called as local variables and there will be local modifications only. Those changes will not reflect outside the function. Okay, so I hope you understood the point here. Suppose I want to change the value of my name variable inside the function, but I want that change to be made globally. Let me repeat once again. I want to change the value of name variable from Python to Java. But if I try to print the value of name variable outside my function also, I should get Java as answer. Okay. I want to make the change globally, but I want to make the change inside the function itself. So for doing that, we have a keyword called global. And after this global keyword, we will specify our variable name. Here my variable name is name, right? So I have given my variable name. So if I run this program, you can see here I got Java 2 times here. So here I am telling my Python interpreter to make my name variable as global. So whatever the changes which I make to this name variable, it will be reflected throughout the program now. Of course, I am changing the value of this name variable inside my function. Okay, I'm changing inside my function only, but the changes will be reflected globally. Why? Because I am saying my Python interpreter that make my name variable as global, and whatever the changes which I make to this global variable inside this function, those changes should be reflected outside the function also. So that's the point here. So if you want to change the value of a global variable inside a function and you want that changes to be reflected globally outside the function also means, then you should say global. After that, you should specify the variable name. So with this inside the function itself, you are making this name variable as global. Now, whatever the changes which you make, those changes will be reflected outside your function also. Okay. This is the thing about local and global variables. I will quickly repeat once again. So here the point is variables which are declared outside the functions, they are called as global variables, and we can access these global variables throughout our program. We can print the value of these global variables inside our functions also. Okay, now the second thing is local variables. So the variables which are declared inside a function, they are called as local variables. And here the point is we cannot access these local variables outside the function. So here I am declaring a variable called L inside my function. If I try to print the value of L outside my function, I will get an error. Why? Because the scope of this variable is until this function only. So inside this function only, you are allowed to use this L variable. Why? Because you are declaring it inside a function. You cannot use this outside the function. So these variables are called as local variables. Okay, these are global variables and local variables in Python. And apart from that, you have a global variable and you want to perform modification to that global variable inside a function means then you should say this global name. So this global is a keyword. After this keyword, you should specify your variable name. Okay, now what will happen means whatever the changes which you make to this name variable inside the function, those changes will be reflected globally. Listen to my words carefully. So if you say global name means now whatever the changes which you make to this name variable inside the function, those changes will be reflected outside the function also. Now if I print the value of name outside my function, I will get output as Java. So that's the point here. If you are not mentioning global name means now you are changing the value of name variable, and the value of name variable will be Java inside the function. Okay, inside the function it will be Java. Why? Because you are performing modification inside the function. But outside the function, the value of name variable will be Python only. It will not be Java. Why? Because name is a global variable. You are performing a local modification inside the function. Suppose if you want that modification to be made globally, but you want to make that inside a function itself, then you can use this global keyword. So with the help of this global keyword, our Python interpreter will understand that we are trying to modify the value of this name variable globally. So whenever I do modifications to this global variable now inside my function, those modifications will be reflected outside my function also. Okay. So I hope you clearly understood the concept of global variables and local variables in Python. And also we have discussed about how to create our own errors in Python. Okay. Now I am going to enable the chat section for a few minutes. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me regarding these two concepts, raising our own exceptions, and after that we have discussed about global variables and local variables in Python. Okay, I have enabled the chat section. So if you clearly understood all the concepts means then you can message as clear, or you can say understood. Okay, thank you for confirming. And Sai Puja is asking global name equal to Python. Can we use like this? So here I haven't tried, but let us try now. If I do like this, you can see here I got syntax error. So like this, it is not allowed in Python. Okay. So we directly can't assign a value after this global keyword. So here, let me mention the syntax also. Global keyword followed by variable name. Why do we need this? If we want to make changes to a global variable inside our function, then we need to use global keyword. Okay, if we want to make changes to a global variable, but we want to make those changes inside a function, then we need to use global keyword. If we are not using this means the value of name variable will be Java inside my function, outside my function it will be Python only. If we are using this line means I am changing it to Java, so both inside and outside my function it will be Java now. Okay, that's the concept of using global keyword here. So Sujit is asking raise import error, explain once again. So Sujit, suppose if you want to raise an import error, then in the place of exception, just to say import error, or else you can say module not found error. You can mention any error here. So basically the point is, it is meaningless to say import error here. Why? Why? Because here I am having a scenario. What is my scenario? I am taking a positive input from the user. Okay. He is entering negative number. So if he is entering a negative number means I should raise an error. Okay. So for raising that kind of error, import error is an invalid name. If I run this, I will get the desired output. If I run this and if I say -9, you can see here I got import error and negative numbers are not allowed. So you can see here the error name and the error message is totally irrelevant. My error name is import error, but my error message is totally irrelevant to my error name. Okay. Suppose uh, so you can use any error name here. Okay, but that error name should be a valid runtime error name of Python. It can be import error, module not found error, key error, index error, name error, value error, zero division error. It can be any error name. But my better suggestion is always use exception here. So it will be more meaningful now. If I enter -6, you can see here I got exception. What is meant by exception? Error, right? So I got an error. What is my error? Negative numbers are not allowed. Enter only positive numbers. So basically, instead of exception, you can specify any error name. But if you think it is valid to use a error name here, then of course you can use it. That's the point here. Okay. If you think um, here value error, here you can raise value error. Why? Because if I run this and if I enter -9, I am getting value error. It is somewhat meaningful. Why? Because I am asking user to enter a positive number. He is entering a negative number. So I am using value error as my error name. It is more meaningful now. So like this, if you think the error name which you are using is a meaningful error name, then of course go with that. Now, if you can't specify a particular error name, then simply mention exception there. Okay. So here using value error will be more meaningful. Why? Because user is entering a wrong value. I am asking him to enter a positive value. He is entering a negative value. So I can show him a value error. So like this, you can create your own errors. So if you can't decide which error name you want to use means use exception. If you can decide which error name you can use means specify that error name. That's it. Okay, so I hope you understood that. Sujit, both are exactly same. Exception is nothing but error. That's it. We call error itself as an exception. Of course, Kaushal, we can declare multiple global variables. So in our previous programs, we have declared multiple variables, right? So basically, the variables here n is also a global variable. Why? It is simply nothing but the variables which are outside the function. Those variables are called as global variables. That's it. If a variable is declared inside the function means it is called as local variable. That's the point here. You can declare as many as global variables and local variables you want. So of course, Nikhil, you can use try block also here. So here you are raising a value error, right? So you can place this inside a try block. So if you are getting a value error means, so write some code. Let me quickly show you that. So here I am going to place this inside my try block. So try. So if I say try, what will happen? My Python interpreter will try to execute this code. It will try to execute from line number 8 to line number 12. If it found any error means, then it will enter into except block. So as I am raising value error here, so let me say except value error as E, then print E. That's it. So if I run this program now if I enter positive number, nothing will happen. I got success. If I enter negative number -9, you can see here instead of getting error, this time I got my error message. What is my error message? I am printing the value of E here. So the error message will be stored inside this E variable. So I got output as negative numbers are not allowed, enter only positive numbers. So that's the concept here. Okay, I hope you understood this. So here also, if you are raising exception here means after this except keyword, specify exception. So that's the point. If you are raising import error means after except keyword, use import error. If you are saying module not found error means then after except keyword, specify module not found error. So that's the point here. So I hope you clearly understood what is happening here. So Amulya, we can't use local variables outside. That's what I have been telling. It will be up to inside a function only. Inside my function, I can access them, but outside my function, I cannot access them. So Kaushal, that's the point. If you want to know the error, then basically there are a lot of errors, right? With the practice, you can understand. So I can tell some errors. Suppose if you are trying to access an element from the list with the help of index number and you are giving a wrong index number means you will get an index error. Suppose if you are trying to print a variable which is not declared or defined in a program means you will get a name error. And also suppose if you are trying to access a wrong key from the dictionary means you will get a key error. So yes, you can read this. So this is the error name and the description of that error. So I hope this helps. So go to ChatGPT and search for give me the names of runtime errors available in Python. You will get some names. So like this you can find the error name. So this is the only one way to find the error name. And the other way is execute your code without try block. You will get error on the terminal. Like that also you can find error name. Okay. So I think you all clear with the topics of race, and after that we have discussed about these user types of variables, global and local variables. And now let me disable the chat section. And now we are going to discuss about file handling in Python. Let me create a new file called as file handling.py. So now, why do we need this file handling? Okay, now I want to collect some information from the user. Okay, listen to my words carefully. So just concentrate for some 15 minutes. You will clearly understand the concept of file handling in Python. Okay, now here I am having a requirement. I want to collect some of the details from the user, like his name, phone number, address, uh, like some details like that. Okay. Now he will enter the details. After that, after completely executing my program, those details will be vanished. That's it, right? So here in my previous files, so we have here, take a look at the line number 8. We are taking input from the user. We are taking a number as input from the user, and we are storing it in a variable n. After executing my program, after completely executing my program, the value inside this n will be automatically deleted. That's it, right? Now there will be a no variable called n after execution of my program. While executing, of course, I can access this n value, but after executing it, this n will be vanished. That's it, right? Suppose here you have a requirement, you need to ask some details from the user, and now after, if user enters some details, means you need to store those details inside your in database. So of course, the one way is you can store them inside your database. For permanently storing details, you can use database, but it will be a completely different concept, so ignore it. So the other way is we can create our own files and we can store those data inside our files with the help of Python. So that is the concept of file handling. Suppose if we have a file, means we can open that file, we can read that file. And similarly, if we want to create our own file, means of course we can do that also. We can create our own file. So how can we do that? Now we are going to discuss about that only. So file handling. So first, tell me one thing. So what will you do if you want to read the data inside a file? So if you want to you want to open a text file and you want to read the data, what will you do? First step is you will open a file, right? After that, you will read a file. And the final step is you will close that file. That's it, right? We do three steps. In Python programming also, we have those exact three steps. First, we open a file. After that, we read that file. After that, we close that file. So first, open a file. So how to open a file? Again, the syntax is simple as it is Python. It is always simple. We are going to use a built-in function called as open. So this open is a built-in function available in Python. So with the help of this open function, we can open a file. So you need to pass two parameters here. So the first parameter is file name, and the second parameter is mode. What is this mode? It is simple. So here the point is, if you want to open an existing file and you just want to read that file, then you will open it in read mode. If you want to create a new file and you want to write some data into that file, then you open that file in write mode. Suppose if there is a file, you want to add some more data to that file, then you can open that file in append mode. Don't worry, I will explain each and every mode clearly now. Okay, now we understood what is meant by mode. Okay, this open function will take two parameters. First is file name. So it will basically open that file. After that, mode. In which mode we want to open it? Either it is read mode or write mode or append mode. Okay. Now what is the second step? After opening a file, we will read or we will modify that file. So for performing this, we have some built-in functions, like we have function called read, we have function called write. So we will discuss about all those functions, don't worry. Next, the final step is we will close that file. So these are the three steps which we are going to do now. All right. So first, let us see how to read some data from a file. So let me create a new file here called as. So we know how to create a file, right? So click on that icon, new file. So let me enter a file called as demo.txt. So here I am specifying my extension as txt. If I am creating a Python file inside VS Code, means my extension will be .py. Now I want to create a text file. So my extension is .txt. Okay. So here these extensions are very important in Python. Okay. Now I have created a new file called demo.txt. So if you open this file manager, you can see here, now we have a new file called as demo.txt. With the help of VS Code, we created this file. All right. So now inside this file, I am going to write some text like, hello, my name is Elon Musk. I am in Mars, something like this. Okay. Now we have some data inside this file. Now let me close this file. Now I want to read the contents of this demo.txt. With the help of Python, how can we do that? So what is the first step? We need to open a file. So open demo.txt. It is my file name and I want to open it in a read mode. So I am opening it in a or specifies that it is a read mode. So or means read mode. Here we cannot modify a file. I hope you understood the point. If it is in read mode means you cannot write anything in the file. As you are opening it to read, you can only read the contents of that file. You cannot modify the contents present inside that file. And also one more thing is we need to assign this to a variable, of course. So here my variable name is file or let it be data. Anything. It's up to us. It is our wish. So I am assigning this open function call to a variable called data. Now with the help of this data variable, I can access all the data which is stored in my demo.txt file. How to do that? So if I say print data, if I run this, you can see here we will get some weird output. So data, okay, spelling mistake. Let me run this once again. You can see here I got something as IO text to wrapper name demo.txt mode is in reading mode and encoding CP1252. So I got some output which I don't want actually. So now if I say data.read, so there is a function called as read in Python. So this read is a built-in function available for files. If you are opening a file and you are assigning it to a variable, now you need to say variable name dot read. So with the help of this read function, all the data which is present inside this demo.txt, it will come to my terminal now. So if I run this, you can see here I got the data. Hello, my name is Elon Musk. I am in Mars. So I am in or I am at Mars or anything. If I run this once again, you can see I got the output. Okay, that's the point here. So there is a function called read. So with the help of this read function, we can read all the contents which are present inside a file. So read is a function similar to append. We call list name dot append, right? Similarly, we call file name dot read. Basically, here my variable name is data, right? So I am using data here, and I am assigning this open function call to my data variable. So I hope you understood the point here. So this read function is used to read the contents of a file. Okay, so suppose, so this is one function we have. The other function is, now you don't want to read the entire file. I want to read line number one only. What can I do that? So I have another function called as print data dot read line. So there is a function called as read line. Now if I run this program, you can see here this time I just got hello as output. So there is a function called read line. It will read only a single line from the file. Suppose if I run this function two times, you can see here first I got hello as output. After that I got my name is Elon Musk as output. So here basically consider like this. There will be a pointer. Okay. So at line number 11, we are calling this read line function. Okay. Which means it will read the first line from my program. So now it has successfully read the first line. Now the pointer will move to the second line. Now if I again call this read line function, it will print the second line. It will not print the first line again. Why? Because my pointer is now at the second line. Now I have called two times this read line function. Now what will happen? This pointer will move to the third line. Suppose if I call this read line function once again means, then I will get third line as output. Okay. If I run this, you can see here I got I am in Mars as output. If I run this once again, of course, I won't get anything. Why? Because there are only four lines in my, there are only three lines in my file. So that's the point here. Okay. And also you might be thinking, why are we getting a empty space or empty line in between hello and my name is Elon Musk? We are getting a empty space in between each and every line. Why? Because there are two reasons. The one reason is here inside my file, hello is at line number one, and my name is Elon Musk is at line number two, and I am in Mars is at line number three. All right. So, and also we know about print function. How print function works? Automatically, it will allocate a new line. Okay, remember this point. Automatically, this print function will allocate a new line. So this print function is allocating a new line, and automatically already there is a new line in my demo.txt file. So that's the reason why there is an empty line in between hello and my name is Elon Musk. So if you want to avoid that empty line means what can we do? Of course, we can use this end parameter, end equal to empty quotes. That's it. Now if I run this once again, you can see here this time I haven't got that empty line. So if you want to ignore that empty line means you can use this end parameter. Okay, I hope you understood this concept. So read line, it is a function. It is it is used to read a individual line. Okay. So with the help of this read line function, we can read individual line from my file. And also there is one more function called read lines, data dot read lines. If I run this program, you can see here this time I got all the lines in a list. So hello is my one line, my name is Elon Musk is my second line, I am in Mars, it's my third line. So I got all the lines inside a list, and all these lines are separated by a comma. Okay, I hope you understood this point. So read lines function will retain all the lines from a text file in a list format. So read lines is a function. It will return all the lines from a file in a list format. So this is the important point here. In a list format, I will get all the lines inside my list, and those lines will be separated by a comma. So I hope you understood the concept of read lines. And there is one more interesting thing here. So after hello, I have this new line character. After my name is Elon Musk, I have this new line character. Okay, I'm having backslash n. Why? Why? Because here hello is at one line, my name is Elon Musk is at second line. No. So basically, it is in new line. So our Python file is also appending this new line character at each and at the end of each and every line. Suppose if you want to remove that new line character means you can use script function here. Okay, we know about script function. So script function is used to remove empty spaces, and if in case if you have empty line also means it will remove that empty line from the end of your string. Okay, so for that you can do one thing. So like uh, let me take a new variable here called as LST, and I am going to start a for loop for I in I am going to pass this iterable. So this data dot readlines is returning a list, right? So let me create a variable called data, and to this data variable I am assigning this function data dot readlines. What will this data dot readlines do? It will return all the lines from a file inside a list, and all those lines will be separated by a comma. Now inside data or inside this variable data I am having a list. You can change this name also. If you have any kind of confusion means you can change it to D. Okay. So now D is my list name. D is having list of all the lines which are available in demo.txt file. Why? Because I am opening demo.txt file in a read mode, and I am assigning that open function call to a variable called data, and I am calling data.readLines function. So it will read all the lines from my text file, and it will store all those lines inside a list, and all those lines will be separated by a comma. Okay. Now I know that this D is a list, and we can pass this iterable D to this for loop, right? We can directly pass a list to the for loop. We know this concept. So initially, what will be the value of I? The first line in the first iteration, the value of I will be the first line from the demo.txt file. In the second iteration, the value of I will be second line from the demo.txt file. Okay. Now I'm having a variable called LST. This LST is an empty list. And inside this list, I am going to append all the lines without this new line character. Have a look at the terminal. Okay. In the terminal, I am having a list, but in the end, I am having this new line character. I want to remove this new line character. Apart from this new line character, if I am having any empty spaces also, I need to remove them. How can I do that? I can do that with the help of script function. Okay, to this LST variable, I am going to append each and every line. So what will be the value of I? I will contain each and every line in a iteration. In the first iteration, it will contain the value of first line. Okay. So I know that I can use script function now. So we have discussed about this script function. So this script function will remove empty characters and the new line characters from the end of from both end and the beginning of the string. If you use or script means it will remove empty characters and new line from the ending of the string, from the right side of the string. Suppose if you are using else script means it will remove empty characters and new line character from the beginning of the string. If you are using directly strip function means by default it will remove from the both ends. It will remove empty characters from the both ends of the string. So now if I print LST, so let me run this program. You can see here this time I haven't got the extra new line. Now I have ignored the and empty spaces with the help of this strip function. So like this you can do that. So now we know the concept of list, we know the concept of for loop, we know about strip function. We need to create our own line. So what can I do? I use strip function and like this I can write some logic. Okay, I hope you understood this. So these are the three functions which are available to read data. So basically, this read function will return all the contents of the file. If you want to read the individual line, you can use this read line function. If you want all the lines inside a list means, you can use this read lines function. It will return all the lines from a file in a list format. Okay, like this, we can read a file in Python. So I hope you understood this. So now, finally, we need to close this also. How can we do that? It is simple data dot close. That's it. So we are opening a file, we are reading the contents of the file, and finally we need to close that file. So these are the three steps. If you are not closing means you will not get any error, but you should close the file. It will be a better practice. Okay, I hope you understood the concept of reading a file in Python. Now let us see. So the time is 8:20. So let me explain you how to write content inside a file. And in the tomorrow's class, we will see how to append new data to the file. Okay. So now here, I am going to open my file in a write mode. So that's the first thing which I am going to do. So let me declare a variable called file and open function. So let me create a file called as writing demo.txt. Okay, writing demo.txt, and I am going to open it in a write mode. After that, I am going to close that file. Okay, now you can see here initially, I don't have any file called as writing demo.txt. I am going to create this file with the help of write mode. So if I run this program, you can see here I got writing demo.txt. A new file has been created. In the file manager also you can see a new file has been created. So what is happening here? So if you open a file in write mode, then automatically it will create a new file. So that's the point here. Suppose if the file is already present means it will not do anything to that file. Suppose if you open demo.txt in write mode means, suppose nothing will happen. You won't get any kind of error. Why? Because this demo.txt is already present. And you can see here, as soon as I open this demo.txt file in write mode, you can see here all the contents of demo.txt has deleted. So that's the point here. So if you are trying to open a text file which is already present means, that too with the help of W mode, which means write mode, then all the contents of that file will be deleted. Suppose if the file is already created means, then all the contents of that file will be deleted. You can see here I have opened demo.txt in write mode and all the contents of demo.txt was deleted. So let me change this to writing demo. Now, if suppose if the file is not present means initially writing demo.txt was not present. So suppose if the file was not present means it will create that file. That's the point here. If the file is not present means it will create a file. If the file is already present means then it will delete all the contents of that file. So W mode, it will create a new file if the file is not present. It will delete contents of a file if the file is already present. These are the important points which you should remember regarding write mode. And with the help of this write mode, you can write something into your file, into your actual file. Okay. Now you can write anything into your file. So of course it is again simple. First variable name followed by dot, and we are going to call our function for reading a file. What we did, we called a function called read. Now we need to write something into our file. What should we do? Of course, we need to call a function called write. That's it. So inside this write function, now I am going to pass some data like hello, I am learning Python. Okay, you can see here I am specifying a new line character here. So hello will be in one line and I am learning Python, it will be in another line. So if I run this, I haven't got anything on the output. But if I open this writing demo.txt, you can see here this time I got data inside my file. Hello, I am learning Python. So like this, you can create a file and you can write data into that file. So write is a function which is available in Python with the help of this write function. So basically whatever the data which you are passing inside that function, those data will be written on that file. Okay. So that's the thing here. Suppose let me change this data to I am good at Python. Now, if I run this program once again, and if I open this demo, writing demo.txt, you can see here this time I got as I am good at Python. That's it. My previous data was deleted. What was my previous data? Hello, I am learning Python. It was my previous data. Now I have executed this program once again, and this time I am writing some content like I am good at Python. Now what happened? My previous data was deleted, and this new data has been written to my file. Okay, this is a point which you should remember in case of write function. So if you are opening a file in write mode, in the W mode means, then your previous contents of the file will be deleted and whatever the things which you are writing, so those contents will be present in your file. So that is the point which you should remember. So today we have discussed about read mode or and write mode W. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about append mode A. Okay, so these are the things which are available in file handling, and yet we have to discuss some of the modes, so we will discuss those modes tomorrow. Okay, like this, you can open a file and you can read the contents of that file, and also you can open a file in writing mode and you can write contents into that file. Okay, I hope you clearly understood the concept of file handling in Python. Okay, I have enabled the chat section. Now, if you don't have any doubts, means you can leave this class, and if you have any kind of confusion, means you can ask me. And if you clearly understood, means just send a message as understood, and after that you can leave this class. So of course, I am going to share the GitHub link where you will find all these things. So all these files. So try this at home. And if you have any kind of confusion, means check out the recorded video. You will understand clearly what is happening with our program. Okay. Okay. All are saying that clear and understood. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I will stop the recording now.